Hello and welcome to Fast and Factual on Firstpost, where we get you the top 50 stories from around the world. I'm Alison Lagrange, coming to you live from Durban, South Africa. Let's begin. Now we start in West Asia. Israeli forces have launched a ground operation in southern Lebanon. This comes hours after the Israeli War Cabinet approved plans for the newest phase of war against Hezbollah. Israel says its limited ground raids in Lebanon are being backed by Israeli warplanes and artillery. Israel said it was targeting villages in southern Lebanon. The military said the targeted areas posed an immediate threat to communities in northern Israel. Meanwhile, as cross-border attacks continue, Hezbollah said it targeted Israeli troops near Lebanon's border. This comes after Israel confirmed its ground operation in some villages of southern Lebanon. The Iran-backed outfit targeted a group of Israeli troops in the Metula area with artillery shells. Another group of Israeli soldiers were targeted in the same area with rockets. Hezbollah also targeted Israeli soldiers in Avim, a town in northern Israel. At least 3 people were reportedly killed by an Israeli airstrike on the Syrian capital of Damascus. Also, at least 9 people sustained injuries. The Israeli attack also caused significant damage to the Syrian capital. As per reports, Syrian air defenses intercepted the attacks thrice over Damascus in a row overnight. And as tension in the region continues to escalate, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has issued a fresh warning to Iran's leadership. He said there was no place in West Asia which is beyond Israel's reach. In a video, Netanyahu addressed the people of Iran and said that their government was bringing them closer to the abyss. Hinting at Hezbollah, he said, and I quote, "Don't let a small group of theocrats crush your hopes." Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to his Israeli counterpart Benjamin Netanyahu about the conflict in West Asia. Taking to the social media platform X, Prime Minister Modi wrote about their conversation. The Indian leader said that terrorism had no place in the world. Indian Prime Minister even added that India was committed to support an early restoration of peace and stability in the region. A U.S. Defense Secretary, Lloyd Austin, spoke to Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant yesterday. He extended his support to Israel in dismantling Hezbollah's attack infrastructure along with Lebanese border. Now, Austin also warned Iran of serious consequences if it attacks Israel in response to its military campaign against Hezbollah in Lebanon. And U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said on Monday that the world is safer after the death of Hezbollah chief. Israel killed Hassan Nasrallah over the weekend during a strike in Beirut. Blinken described Nasrallah as a brutal terrorist. He also insisted diplomacy was the best solution for stability in West Asia. Ryan Ruth, the man accused of trying to kill Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump, has pleaded not guilty to several charges. The 58-year-old man was spotted with a rifle as he hid in the bushes near Trump's golf course in Florida. Apart from attempted assassination of Trump, Ruth has also been charged with firearms offenses and assaulting an officer. His attorneys have submitted a not guilty plea and requested a trial by jury. A Georgia judge has upheld the state's 6-week abortion plan and declared it unconstitutional. Judge Robert McBurney said that Georgia's Life Act infringed a woman's state constitutional rights. The law criminalized abortions after an embryo generates detectable cardiac activity. This happens usually about 6 weeks into the pregnancy. And the U.S. envoy to Sudan has hailed the country's improved aid access to the war-torn country. The U.S. envoy, Tom Perrillo, said that Washington is pleased by the improvements on humanitarian access. Fighting broke out last year in April between Sudan's army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces. Both the factions have accused each other of war crimes and blocking humanitarian aid. And Claudia Sheinbaum will take oath as the first woman president of Mexico today. Now, this comes almost 4 months after she secured a landslide victory in the presidential election. Sheinbaum is replacing her mentor and outgoing president, Andrés Manuel López Obrador. The ruling Morena party's leader will assume office duties in the presence of foreign dignitaries. Brazilian President Lula da Silva and US First Lady Jill Biden will also attend the event. Now moving to the war in Europe. Russia is planning to hike its defense spending by about 30% next year. As per the government's website, Russia will take its defense budget to $145 billion. This comes as the country diverts more resources to support its actions in Ukraine. Moscow has already ramped up its spending on the military to just drastic levels. It is producing large numbers of ammunition and paying lucrative salaries to its troops fighting on the front line. At least 3 people died and 15 others were injured after a man went on a stabbing rampage in China. The tragic incident took place inside a Walmart supermarket in Shanghai. The 37-year-old man, surnamed Lin, was arrested on site. Police said that the man came to the mall to vent his anger due to a personal economic dispute. A further probe into the matter remains underway. In climate news now, the death toll from Storm Helene crossed 120 in Southeast America. President Joe Biden will visit the worst-hit North Carolina state tomorrow. At least 1 million people in the Carolinas and Georgia are still without power. Helene made landfall in Florida's Big Bend region last week. And according to experts, storms including Hurricane Helene have dumped a whopping 40 trillion gallons of rain in the southeast U.S. last week. This amount of water can fill more than 60 Olympic-sized swimming pools. Meteorologists say that the flood damage from the rain is apocalyptic. Officials say that they haven't seen this amount of precipitation in the past 25 years. And in the Philippines, a powerful typhoon named Krathon has lashed the northernmost islands. This has led to mass evacuations in the region. There are no reports of casualties or damage yet. Sea voyages were also halted in the northern town. Typhoon Krathon is now moving toward Taiwan. Meanwhile, residents in Taiwan are bracing themselves for the impact of Typhoon Krathon. The Weather Department issued a warning for heavy rain for several places. The government has also ordered the closure of schools and offices. Fishermen have come back with their boats to the harbor to secure their vessels. And experts say that some areas in Taiwan could get nearly 80 millimeters of rainfall in 24 hours. And in Brazil, the depth of a major Amazon River tributary named the Solimões has dropped to a record low of 9.8 feet. This is due to the severe ongoing drought in the region. It has left the people living on its banks stranded without food, water and transport. The water levels are expected to drop further as there is almost 1 more month to go before the rains come. And Bolivian President Luis Arce has declared a national disaster in the country. It is due to the devastating wildfires raging in eastern Bolivia since June. This announcement comes after citizens demanded more intervention from the government. The fire has burned more than 7 million hectares of land in Santa Cruz alone. In Brazil's Atfona town, over 500 houses have been destroyed along the coast. This is due to erosion worsened by global warming and the silting of the Paraíba River. Now, sea levels in the region have risen 13 centimeters in 30 years and would potentially rise another 16 centimeters by the year 2050. The erosion could push the ocean up to 150 meters inland by 2050. And experts warn that without proper city planning, the loss of coastal land is inevitable. And on to business and tech news. The U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell has said that they are not in a rush to cut interest rates. His comments come after the Federal Reserve reduced interest rates by 0.5 percentage point last month. This large cut was seen as a way to calm fears of recession about the US economy. Powell noted that the economy is in solid shape and inflation has eased. He has also noted that going forward, the US Central Bank may reduce interest rates in smaller cuts. And thousands of workers at the US East Coast ports have started a strike. The workers are demanding higher pay and job security. Talks over a new wage contract between union workers and port operators have stalled. The strike will affect 14 ports across the American East Coast, from New England to Texas. And these ports handle half of all the ship cargo to the US. And American healthcare giant CVS Health is reportedly considering splitting up its businesses. The firm is exploring the option of separating its pharmacy retail chain from its insurance unit. This comes as CVS has been facing a profit slump. The healthcare firm's investors have been pushing for changes. And a US transportation regulator has warned that more than 40 foreign airlines might be using Boeing jets with a faulty component. The regulator has said that the airlines may be unaware of the issue. The warning concerns Boeing 737 aircraft with potentially risky rudder components. The part led to an accident involving a United Airlines flight in February this year. A US court dismissed a case against electric car maker Tesla and its CEO Elon Musk yesterday. The case was filed by a Tesla shareholder claiming that Musk and the company defrauded them. They were accused of overstating the effectiveness of Tesla's self-driving car software. Shareholders contended that this led to a rise in Tesla's stock prices. However, the court said the shareholder failed to prove the allegations. Fortnite video game maker Epic Games plans to file a lawsuit against Google and Samsung. The American video game maker accuses the companies of preventing competition at Google's Play Store. Epic Games' allegations are related to Samsung's new security feature called Auto Blocker. It is designed to block app downloads from unsecured sources. However, Epic Games alleges that Auto Blocker is intended to deter users from downloading apps from other sources. A US court has dismissed a few charges in an antitrust case against e-commerce giant Amazon. The firm was accused of illegal monopoly by the US Federal Trade Commission. The lawsuit also accuses the e-commerce giant of harming consumer interests, but the court said that the Trade Commission provided no evidence of harm to consumers. And the US has unveiled a new rule to ease the shipment of advanced chips to West Asia. The move would allow chip makers like Nvidia, AMD, and others to export their products to the region without a license. Currently, chip makers need to obtain individual permits to send chips to West Asia and Central Asia. Now the US will allow West Asian firms to enroll in a validation program, and this will allow them to obtain advanced chips from any American firm. And Google has kicked off the construction of a $2 billion data center in Malaysia. The firm said its investment in the country would create about 26,500 jobs. Google added that its investment will contribute more than $3 billion to Malaysia's economy. And the German competition watchdog has placed tech giant Microsoft on its monitoring list for antitrust practices. The regulator said that Microsoft has held a dominant position in the market for many years. It added that the tech giant has many omnipresent products that have become indispensable. And recently, the German regulator has added many tech giants to its monitoring list, including Alphabet and Meta. And moving on to sports news, just like usual, we start with cricket. India handed Bangladesh a whitewash with a 2-0 Test series win. They beat Bangladesh by 7 wickets in a rain-hit second test. Yashavi Jaiswal's half-century helped India to grab the win. Earlier, India bowled out Bangladesh for 146 runs in the first session. Chasing 95 for victory, India finished at 98 for 3 in 17.2 overs. India shattered records on day 4 of the second test against Bangladesh. They unleashed a batting frenzy and started scoring runs at a rate that Test cricket has rarely witnessed. Rohit Sharma's team reached 50 runs in 3 overs, 100 runs in 10.1 overs, and 200 in 24.2 overs. This is the fastest ever run rate by a Test team. India eventually declared the innings at 285 for 9 wickets. And South Africa's cricket board has confirmed a Test series against Bangladesh. The 2-match series will begin on the 21st of October. It will be a part of the ICC World Test Championship. The decision comes after Cricket South Africa's officials visited Bangladesh for a security review. Earlier, there were concerns over the tour due to the political turmoil in Bangladesh. And South Africa have also unveiled their squad for the Bangladesh Test series. The Proteas will be captained by Themba Bavuma. The squad features a spin-heavy lineup. The 3 spinners named are Mutamsamy, Keshav Maharaj and Dane Pett. Now the Proteas squad will arrive in Dakar on the 16th of October. And in football, French attacking midfielder Antoine Griezmann announced international retirement. The 33-year-old was a part of the World Cup winning French squad in 2018. The French vice-captain made his debut in March of 2014. Griezmann calls his time on his career having won a total of 137 caps. And Paris Saint-Germain's Ousmane Dembélé has been ruled out of the squad for the next match. PSG takes on Arsenal in its next Champions League match. PSG manager has said that Dembélé has failed to meet the needs of the team. Dembélé was substituted during PSG's previous match against Rennes, and reports say that a verbal spat erupted between the player and the manager after the match. And Cameroon's Football Association chief has been banned from attending national team matches. The ban will last for 6 months. Football's global governing body, FIFA, says that he has violated disciplinary regulations. The FA chief was found guilty of offensive behavior during an under-20 Women's World Cup match. And Saudi giants Al Nassr clinched their first win in the AFC Champions League elite campaign. They notched up a 2-1 victory over Qatari side Al Rayyan. Now, Sadio Mane and Cristiano Ronaldo scored the crucial goals for Al Nassr. Al Rayyan managed to score but couldn't overcome Al Nassr's lead. And Atletico Madrid are set to face a partial or a full stadium shutdown. This after the club's fan disrupted a home match against Real Madrid. Atletico's supporters threw objects at Real's players during the La Liga derby. And the Spanish Football Federation is set to meet tomorrow to decide on the matter. And in tennis news, Carlos Alcaraz of Spain cruised into the semi-final of the China Open. Now, the second seed dominated Karen Khachanov of Russia 7-5, 6-2. Their encounter lasted 1 hour and 37 minutes. Alcaraz will next play Russia's Daniil Medvedev in the semi-finals. And moving on to the world of showbiz now. English band Coldplay will not release anything after its 12th album. The band's frontman Chris Martin said this in an interview. Martin says that less is more and it is important that the band has a limit. Coldplay is gearing up for the launch of its 10th album, Moon Music, which releases on the 4th of October. And rapper Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, has announced a new album titled Bully. During his performance in China, he revealed that the album will release soon. He also debuted a new song titled Beauty and the Beast during his show. The rapper took to his social media to post an image from the album. And the makers of the Peaky Blinders movie released its first look. The image features Cillian Murphy as the iconic Tommy Shelby. The film will pick up the story from the point where the 6-season series ended. The creator of the Peaky Blinders series, Stephen Knight, is helming the film as well. And the makers of the film Emilia Perez have launched its trailer. The film, featuring Selena Gomez, is about 4 women in Mexico who are on a journey to pursue their own happiness. After a power-packed premiere in Cannes, Netflix picked the film, and the film hits theaters on the 1st of November. And Dune star Timothée Chalamet has begun shooting for Marty Supreme. It is a film about a professional table tennis player. Some images from the set were leaked while the crew was filming. Timothée Chalamet was seen sporting a 1950s hairstyle with an oversized shirt, and the actor will star opposite Avengers star Gwyneth Paltrow. Game of Thrones actor Sophie Turner says, and I quote, "It's a struggle to be a single mother." The 28-year-old actor reveals that it is tough to raise 2 daughters and work at the same time. The actor also said that filming her upcoming movie, Joan, gave her a lot of strength. This comes after her divorce from singer Joe Jonas. After making a splash at the box office, the film Inside Out 2 has hit 30.5 million views online in 5 days. It premiered on Disney Plus on the 25th of September. Inside Out 2 was the first film of 2024 to cross $1 billion at the box office. It released in theaters on the 14th of June. And Hollywood icon Julia Roberts will get an honorary award at the 50th César Awards ceremony in Paris. This award is equivalent to the Oscars in France. The organizers feel that Roberts' influence goes beyond the screen, and the ceremony will take place in February next year. And meanwhile, veteran Indian actor Mithun Chakraborty will get the country's highest film honor. He will get the Dada Saheb Phalke Award, and this award is given for lifetime contribution to the Indian cinema. The actor has worked in over 350 films in multiple languages in his 5-decade-long career. The award will be presented at the 70th National Film Awards ceremony on the 8th of October. And lastly, after 6.5 years, Japanese supernatural manga series Jujutsu Kaisen has ended. The publisher stated that they sold over 100 million copies, including digital versions. And the last compendium will come out in December of this year. The manga series has been turned into an animated series, novels, video games, and even a play. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Fast and Factual. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost.